My name is Jake, and I always thought there was something strange about my room at night. It started with small things. I'd wake up to find my stuff moved around, or my bedroom door slightly open when I was sure I'd closed it. My parents said it was just my imagination, but I knew something wasn't right. One night, I decided to set up my old video camera to record my room while I slept. I wanted to prove that something weird was happening. I set the camera on a shelf, pointing at my bed, and made sure it was recording. I felt a bit silly, but I needed to know. That first night, nothing unusual happened. The next morning, I checked the footage and saw myself sleeping peacefully. I felt a bit relieved and almost decided to give up, but something inside me said to keep recording. So I did. On the third night, things changed. I woke up feeling strange, like someone was watching me. I looked around my room, but saw nothing out of the ordinary. The next morning, I eagerly checked the video. At first, it looked like every other night. I was sleeping soundly, not moving much. But then, around 2 a.m., I saw it. The camera caught my bedroom door slowly opening. My heart started to race as I watched. A figure stepped into my room. It was tall and thin, with long, stringy hair and a shadowy face. It moved silently, gliding across the floor towards my bed. I felt a chill run down my spine as I watched it stand over me, just staring. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The figure didn't move for what felt like forever. Then, it leaned down, its face inches from mine. I could see its eyes dark and empty. My sleeping self didn't stir. Completely unaware of the horror inches away, the figure stood back up and walked around my room, touching my things. It picked up a picture of my family from my desk and looked at it before placing it back. Then, just as quietly as it had come, it left, closing the door behind it. I sat there, staring at the screen, my mind racing. What was that thing? Why was it in my room? I felt sick and terrified. I knew I had to tell someone, but I also knew no one would believe me without proof. That night, I set up the camera again. I didn't sleep much, too scared of what might come. The next morning, I checked the footage. The same thing happened. The figure entered my room, stood over me, and then wandered around before leaving. I decided to show my parents the videos. They were shocked and scared, but they believed me. We called the police, but they found no signs of forced entry and no evidence of anyone else being in the house. My parents didn't want to take any chances, so we moved in with my grandparents for a while. I stopped recording my room, but the nightmares started. I'd dream of the figure standing over me, its dark eyes staring into mine. I'd wake up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. A few weeks later, we moved back into our house. My parents had installed a security system, hoping it would keep whatever it was away. I started to feel a bit safer, but the fear never completely went away. One night, out of curiosity and a need to understand, I set up the camera again. I hoped the figure was gone, that it had moved on to somewhere else. The next morning, I checked the footage, my heart pounding in my chest. The video showed me sleeping peacefully for most of the night. But then, around 3 a.m., the camera started to glitch. The screen went fuzzy, and I could barely make out what was happening. The door opened again, and the figure stepped into the room. This time, it moved directly to the camera. It leaned in close, and for the first time, I saw its face clearly. It was pale and twisted, with empty eyes and a wide, malicious grin. It reached out and touched the lens, and the video went black. I threw the camera across the room, my hands shaking. I didn't need any more proof. I knew that thing was real, and it was still out there. We moved out of that house soon after. My parents said it was for a new job opportunity, but I knew the real reason. They were scared, just like me. We never talked about what happened, and I never recorded my room again. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I wake up with that same feeling of being watched. I lie there, too scared to move, listening for the sound of the door creaking open. And I wonder if one night I'll see those dark, empty eyes staring at me again.